The year was 2012, way back before the Harlem Shake, the most popular song to ever be released, back when the TVs were in black and white, and when the Hunger Games moving pictures had just hit the theater. And it is also when Nintendo released their brand new, cutting-edge technology in the form of the Wii U. Let's take a quick walk back through this pivotal moment in history. Nintendo had just finished printing so much money with their popular Wii console, so much so that they knew they had to ride the wave and continue with the Wii moniker. But what could they add to make this upcoming system even more enticing to consumers? The answer was a second pronoun. But now what about the console itself, you might be asking? They couldn't just make it HD and call it a day, no? Well, I'm glad you asked, because with the simple addition of a tablet controller, Nintendo sought out to change the landscape of gaming. This tablet, branded the Gamepad, had the sleek, plasticky look that was all the rage at the time, coupled with the durability of a tungsten cube so that even a rampaging toddler could not break its mighty resolve. And now that they had aced both the design and the branding of this new innovation, they had but one piece of the puzzle to fit right into place: the games themselves. So, Nintendo mustered up all their brainpower and scraped together all the coins under their couch cushions and in their ashtrays to fund a project with a staggering amount of $27 and this was the product. The fourth new Super Mario Bros. Game within the last 7 years, aptly titled with the surname U. It had all the familiar level themes and designs that you've come to expect, with countless hours of platforming goodness. But as fate would have it, Nintendo did not see a return on their wise investments, and much to everyone's surprise, Mario Bros. U only sold a measly 12 copies. It failed to get people excited for the new wave of gaming, leaving the Wii U to fade into obscurity, and nearly getting Luigi fired from the company. With this disastrous performance from Mario and his Toad friends, Nintendo would shelf the traditional Mario formula for over a decade, while they sat and wondered amongst themselves why the game failed to move the hardware sales they had hoped. People who discovered the game later through its more accessible Nintendo Switch Deluxe version shared the overall sentiment that the game was indeed fun, but still fairly safe in terms of what a Mario game could be, especially when weighed against the more adventurous and ambitious heights developers were taking with Mario's 3D platformers, most notably the more recent Odyssey he trekked on. So after getting a crack team of scientists on the case, Nintendo executives devised a plan to make 2D Mario games feel fresh again, and their final product did not disappoint, as in October of 2023, Nintendo released Super Mario Bros. Wonder for the Nintendo Switch family of systems. I played this game as soon as it came out, and I could not believe how good it was. I had always thought that the 2D Mario games were fun, even if they were a little more predictable in the way they're structured, but this was the first game in the series to make me get excited about replaying levels for collectibles or anticipating how mechanics are recontextualized in the following levels. So, on to the point of this video. Hi, I'm Zack and I'm a buff nerd. I very recently revisited Mario Wonder for the first time since its release to see if it holds up to the very high regard I hold for it in my memory. And the short answer is yes, but the long answer is... The basic structure of this game is familiar to anybody who's played the new Super Mario Bros. Games. You go from left to right, try to hit the top of the flagpole, and collect 3 special coins along the way, with an occasional secret exit sprinkled throughout to keep you on your toes. Usually in these games, the way your progress was gated off was that the coins you found hidden in the levels would be spent to progress to newer or more challenging bonus levels. However, the purple coins you collect 3 of per level in this game are used at the Poplin shops scattered across the map, which are not very required very much at all now that I stop and think about it. So then how do they gatekeep your progression in this game? The secret ingredient, the little bit of salt in the cookie, if you will, is that the developers committed to having a special wonder effect, the game's namesake, in every main level. your character growing nearly as tall as the screen itself, warp pipes coming to life, a fossilized dragon revitalizing, singing piranha plants, your character turning into a bowling ball, a balloon, a Goomba. There are too many silly and fun effects to list here, but essentially, each can be boiled down to their respective level's gimmick. The structure of the game is so simple and easy to pick up, but it allows itself the wiggle room to get creative and fun for these specific moments when you pick up the Wonder Seed. The word wonder fits so well for these effects, because while playing this game, even for the second time, I would get excited and wonder, what could they do next? Once you finish the Wonder Effect segment of the level, you are rewarded with a Wonder Seed, which are the main collectibles of this game to check for progress and hold you back if you don't have enough. In older 2D Mario games, it didn't really make too much sense to gatekeep progress with star coins since you have to play most of the game's levels in order regardless. But the world map in Wonder doesn't have you confined to a straight through line, but rather an open 3D space for you to explore and take on levels in whichever order you choose. This actually gives some weight to certain levels being closed off until you meet the collectible requirement, since you have the option to skip some levels if you don't care for them or if you'd rather do them later. There are still grass levels, ice levels, sand levels, etc., 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 that you would find in pretty much all the new Super Mario Bros. Games, but those aren't as rigidly confined to the same respective worlds in the way previous games handled them. Plus, there are enough new and fun backgrounds and motifs presented to further break up fatigue from seeing and hearing the same things on repeat until you beat that world's boss. Like in this one, where all the grass levels are in World 1, and they all look the same and have the same music over and over and over again. Whereas in Wonder, any semblance of monotony that could have been found grating is broken up by so many varied backgrounds, songs, and Wonder Effect gimmicks. Which brings me to the character design, the new enemy designs, the music, the sound effects, the collectibles, the everything feels so fresh, so new, so inspired, and just full of wonder. There are so many cute animations that couldn't be found in previous games, even for the most basic functions like running or jumping. They all come with new sound effects and music. The powering up animation from grabbing a mushroom is new, the crouching animation is new, the ground pound animation has a little drum roll and it finishes with a little boom effect for when you land. And you can cancel the ground pound mid-animation if you so choose. If you angle the control stick, the character's eyes shift up and down. Walking up a hill halts the momentum of the character. And the best part is that you can move between these actions so fluidly and seamlessly. The game does not forsake its speed, momentum, and pacing for it. All the movement options flow together so effortlessly, and I never felt like my stride was broken or that something felt bogged down. All these animations being new may not seem too exciting to somebody who isn't too invested in Mario, but given the fact that the series had been shelved for 11 years, and that all the previous games in the new series used very similar animations, sounds, and music with minimal changes, accentuates how even the tiniest touches and flourishes can feel so much more exciting and impactful when you play this game for the first time. The difference is so stark, it's like night and day. Morning and evening, like dusk and dawn, just to give you a few examples. The new animations are even more appreciated when they were implemented for each and every character, with each individual power-up, which we'll delve into later. The sound effects for the more expected and mundane things are also given an entirely new coat of audible paint. When you hit a block and release a power-up, there's a much more exciting jingle to highlight that you've earned more than just a mere coin. The sound effect of jumping off a Goomba is so satisfying. The sound effects for collecting the Wonder Flower highlight that the level is morphing and changing around you, as you can even hear the distortion take place as pipes and set pieces rearrange and take on new shapes or sizes. The characters have also all been given brand new voice lines and even new voice actors for this game. They do all sound fun and expressive without straying too far from what the audience expects the characters to sound like. All I know is that it sounds right, but fresh and new, which is so exciting given how long we've had the same voice clips for the Mario characters. The music is very diverse here as well. Some songs do get repeated for badge missions and maybe a handful of times for regular levels throughout the game, but so many levels and sections have unique music scores that heighten their individuality. From the little a cappella ditty in the first level to the singing piranha plants in the very next, The levels carve out their own identity, and the game throws new music at you constantly. None of the songs are particularly outstanding in my mind, outside of the music-themed levels, like the aforementioned Piranha Plants or the King Boo segment. But that's not to say that they're bad, just that I haven't gone out of my way to listen to the soundtrack. I actually looked it up, and there are apparently 86 songs in this game. Now, some are made for cutscenes and story moments, but even then, maybe 70-ish songs spread across the 152 levels is a pretty good variety if you ask me. That gets more impressive when you consider that not all the levels are full levels with coins and a wonder effect. There are 69 main levels in the game consisting of 3 purple coins, a wonder effect, the whole shebang basically. This means that 83 of the 152 are bonus levels with a different structure or setup. The Poplin shops where you outright buy wonder seeds with purple coins, as well as the random Poplin houses that gift you an easy freebie, count as individual levels by the game, totaling 21 of these levels. There are 19 break time levels that give you short bursts of challenges based on mechanics found in the levels preceding them, 4 search party levels, which are horseshit, and 3 races against Wiggler to break up the longer run times of the main levels, bookending them into smaller, cutesy little minigames. Then you have the 10 special world levels, which are also kinda horseshit, but I feel rewarded when I beat one. The most challenging levels in this game are found here, including the one where you have to run and wall jump to the beat. Okay, easy enough, until it becomes a test of will sent by Satan himself. This one pissed me off, but you know what? I did feel accomplished when I finally got to the platform at the top, so it's still better than the fuck-ass search party ones. The final level of this game is a gauntlet of all the different badges you've earned and played with through the whole game. Wait, I forgot to mention badges. Badge levels comprise the remaining 20 bonus levels, and they are meant to serve as an introduction to a new badge. So, badges are equipped before you start a level, and there are a total of 24. Some more simplistic and passive ones allow you to change all power-ups to one of your choosing, magnetize coins towards you, and sense nearby collectibles or secrets. Most of these badge challenges revolve around the more platforming-focused ones, however, such as getting a little flutter kick when you jump, using a vine as a grappling hook, or constantly hopping like a spring, which is the only one I actively despise. While there are a lot of options, the majority of the time I would use the boosting spin jump and parachute cap badges, then switch to the sensor if I missed a coin or a wonder seed. Overall, the biggest critique I could give this game is that certain badges seem more like self-imposed restrictions than a tangible tool that could benefit you. Most are too niche or strictly outclassed by other badges with better movement applications. Like, why on earth would I ever equip the crouch jump or the coin one when I could have the spin jump? I wish they nerfed the better ones a slight bit and then gave you 2 badge slots, one reserved for the active movement options and one for the passives like the power-ups and the sensor. I think it would make choosing one of these feel a little less bad. Even though I think the options and balance for badges is a little limiting, the badge levels themselves function similarly to the break time levels, as a fun little minigame centered around a single mechanic. So overall, it's a minor nitpick, and I expect some people in speedrunning probably found a reason to switch to the vine grab or the wall jump for certain levels, so what do I know? There's such a variety of full levels with their own gimmicks and mechanics that I could believe a reason to use each of these badges at least once, even if it is a little inconsistent. Speaking of variety, this is the largest roster of characters ever available in a mainline Mario game. Now, I know Nintendo counts Super Mario Run as a mainline game, but I don't. So it's good to see that Daisy is finally playable outside of a race cart or a cute little jersey. Even counting Yoshis and Toads as color swaps, there are 8 different characters playable. Yoshi and Nabbit are kind of an easy mode and function a little differently, which is another minor nitpick I have. Because I would love to have played as Yoshi more, but it just feels a little cheap. He and Nabbit don't take damage and can only lose a life by falling into a pit of lava or something. And they also don't get the power-ups, 3 of which are new and exciting. The only thing I think just as integral to the marketing of this game than the wonder effects themselves was the new elephant power-up, which, to be fair, is very cute and silly. But furthermore, it's also fun. You can plow through enemies with such ease by swatting your trunk at them, you can break blocks next to you without the need for an unlucky nearby Koopa's shell, and you can water flowers to get coins or secret. Additionally, there's the bubble flower, which allows you to form your own makeshift platforms to gain height or distance, as well as attack enemies over large gaps or beyond walls, enveloping them in a bubble and having them pop into nothing before your very eyes. What a wonderful sight to behold! Then you have the fire flower. But then you have the drill flower! Drill flower, baby! Yes, sir! Drill flower! Yes, sir! I am done with the fire flower. The drill flower is the best power-up for me personally. I love digging under the Earth's crust, under small passages, and jumping up onto ceilings or ramps to uncover secrets, to evade enemies, and to traverse areas. The movement options this power gives the player are so fun and absolutely not as mechanically in-depth as the other two new abilities. But it's just so invigorating getting to pop out of a cave floor to gain height and surprise enemies. To me, I wish the game had more levels and puzzles revolving around this mechanic, but that's what makes replaying these games so rewarding. To feel that sense of wonder all over again. The power of a really excellent Nintendo game lies primarily in the restraint and care taken with the mechanics and fun ideas. So very quickly do the developers pull a complete 180 and pivot so masterfully from charging bulls to bouncy hippos to rollerblading turtles, leaving you with an eagerness to replay an entire level for that one coin you missed, rather than frustration or dread. The fact that the drill flower mechanics are applied to so few levels means that those levels are all the more special and impactful while you're dashing and bounding through them. It's like the end of a roller coaster, where when you reach a complete stop, you're like, over already? This game is so good. And I'm not one to let recency bias cloud my skies of judgment, but I think this might be my favorite 2D Mario game ever. And I have played them all. The balance between relaxing and cute levels and precarious platforming sections is stricken just so perfectly. I would recommend this game to my mom, who has only played the original Mario Bros. On the NES, and I would recommend it to the sweatiest gamers around. Over time, I can imagine this game's uniqueness cementing its place as one of the best 2D platformers of the generation, if not the greatest of all. So is this game better than I remember it being? Yes. The short answer is yes, and the long answer is also yes.